Hello, YouTube. The mystery of ghosts is revealed. Where do they come from and what do the caterpillars have to do with this? And that's the subject of today's video. And information is based actually on research done in a few countries, including Russia. Ghosts may not exist. Science does not recognize them, but some people believe in them. A new study, unexpectedly, of caterpillars may lift the veil over the mystery. Do ghosts exist? What are they? And why eyewitnesses are terrified when they meet them? Biologists from the University of Bristol have discovered that caterpillars are perfectly aware of the electrostatic field. Electrostatics is always with us. You walk across the carpet, take hold of a metal handle, you're electrocuted. When you were shuffling through the fibers, you created and accumulated a charge on yourself. It discharged to the handle. In winter time, the effect is more pronounced because dry air conducts electricity better. In general, a spark in the air with a length of 1 millimeter is 1000 volts. Even without noticing it, you can carry and do carry several thousands volts. But why even an electric shock, although unpleasant, does not kill? It's just about the current. It's negligibly small. The voltage is huge, the current is tiny. This is the essence of electrostatics. Well, researchers from Bristol were interested in why caterpillars need body hair, the spiny bristles. They don't seem to be very necessary. This turned out to be antennas. The caterpillars were perfectly aware of the electrostatic field that was coming at them. But why would they do that? The answer is again simple. Remember, we talked about friction. When a bird flies, it rubs its feathers against the air and of course creates an electrostatic field around itself. Such fields around birds and even flies have been measured more than once. So birds eat caterpillars. Sensing changes in the field, the caterpillar takes action in advance. Of course, seconds decide everything. Simply put, it tries to hide. Apparently, it works, since the caterpillars, after millions of years of evolution, are still hairy. They have hair. The study was published in the peer-reviewed journal Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. If you ask for a ghost detector on the World Wide Web, you will be surprised to see that the devices, and there are a number of them, are for sale. According to the Russian journalist Arsyukhin, these devices do not react to ghosts. Who knows what a ghost is and how to react to it? But to electrostatic fields. For some reason, supporters of the existence of ghosts are sure that they carry charges and they can be detected this way. However, a person can also sense an electric field even without a sensor, like a caterpillar does, especially if it changes quickly. Astronomers were the first to establish this. Some very bright meteors produce a kind of rustle. Mysteriously, the sound propagates from them at the speed of light, which is impossible. The scientists realized that an electric wave was spreading. Once near a person, it may or may not make noise. To their surprise, astronomers have reliably established that some people perfectly hear meteors, while others do not at all. Long hair, antenna like caterpillars, and metal-rimmed glasses help to hear. Well, here the caterpillars did not think of the glasses. But there is also a certain natural tendency. If we were paranormally attuned, we would call it psychic abilities. But we won't call it that in this video. Since noisy meteors were actively studied in the USSR and in the 1960s, the psychic topic was of great interest even to serious scientists in the country. Experiments were conducted in some places, mostly after work, as if unofficially. The famous Soviet clairvoyants of that time took an active part in it. Different things are said about the results, mostly at the level of something has been detected. We don't understand what. The last such experiments, as far as Arsyukhin knows, were done 10 or 15 years ago. Well, this Russian journalist, Evgeny Arsyukhin, talked to some of the researchers who participated in this. By now, they're already old grandfathers, which I can relate to. A physicist will not talk about the paranormal or about unproven effects, but they just discussed hypotheses, and that's what the conclusion is. A person feels and even sometimes hears an electrostatic field. Such fields of natural origin surround us everywhere. You don't even have to shuffle on the carpet. Air movement, rain, that's the electrostatics for you. Now imagine a typical haunted place where most likely drafts, cracks, doors slamming back and forth, and other gothic events. Fields are being created. A person feels them, and perhaps he or she is afraid, like a caterpillar. The electric field does not do any good. At a minimum, its amplification warns of a thunderstorm. And our ancestors, cavemen and cavewomen, clad in animal skins, but without lightning rods, were afraid of thunderstorms. It's time to hide in the cave, to fantasize, so to say, to imagine, although it's true, some lion sitting in ambush gives itself away by an electrostatic field, isn't it? It's got to hide like that. Probably our animal ancestors could have caught this, and we have slightly preserved these abilities. Could this explain the phenomenon of ghosts? Why not? Is it clear now why some people try to avoid ghosts? Probably yes. Of course, even if this explanation is correct, it is unlikely to be exhaustive. That's why ghosts, UFOs, and fireballs are so difficult to science, because these phenomena are complex. There are many reasons for them. Just look at my videos on the above subjects. They are observed suddenly, not on order, and not in the laboratory. So at one time, engineers Vic Tandy and Tony Lawrence were ready to call the ghost hunters to their place and clean up the laboratory. People felt an unaccountable fear in the laboratory. They heard and saw something. The reason was an unbalanced fan, which, due to a breakdown, produced infrasound, an ordinary sound but of very low frequency. We don't hear infrasound, but it causes an unaccountable fear. I have discussed this in my videos about the lost expeditions and disasters in the USSR. And I will talk about a very strange sounds and demise of a space program, part of it at least, in my future video. The effect was noticed at the beginning of the 20th century, and even they tried to use it in the First World War to sow panic among the enemy. Of course, the draft produces not only electrostatics, but also infrasound. No wonder, when the night is windy, a person often feels uncomfortable. Of course, the question is how much infrasound there is. Obviously, more than just from that fan. But it's about the details. If the room is a natural resonator, you don't need a lot of energy. That's the difficulty. One physical phenomenon, the wind, produces two effects. Both act on us, and both can be used to explain the ghostly phenomena. Who can guarantee that there are only these two effects? Anyway, the discovery of Western biologists unexpectedly throws a bridge to the mysteries of our perception of reality. And this, in Arsyukhin's opinion, is a cool fact in itself. Just remember one thing when it comes to caterpillars. The most aggressive caterpillar defenses are bristles associated with venom glands. These bristles are called urticating hairs. A venom which is among the most potent defensive chemicals in any animal is produced by the South American silk moth genus Lonomania. Its venom is anticoagulant, powerful enough to cause a human to hemorrhage to death. So be careful out there when you go to visit some of the places in South America. Consider it a social service announcement. So if you like my videos, please support my research through the links you'll find in the description to this video. Please tell others about my channel. Please like my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. And I promise to bring you more interesting videos in the near future. Thank you for your attention to my work.